gabi po, Raymund Tribdino po, Tito Tribs ng Manila Times at ng TechSabado.com. Nandito tayo, wala ho si attorney at wala si Jing. Dahil si Jing ho ay kumakanta at si attorney ay nag-aabogado. So, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Nandito po tayo sa opisina ng Foundation for Media Alternatives. At meron na tayong magandang pag-uusapan ngayong gabi. Medyo malalim yung pag-uusapan. We'll talk about digital rights. And kasama ko po ngayon sa episode na ito ay ang lahat ko kami nakaitim. Wala akong dahilan yan. Pero ang kakasama ko rito, I am surrounded by three intelligent, beautiful women. And they represent the spectrum of digital rights and advocacies dito po sa usapan natin na to. To my left is Liza Garcia. Nagkasama po tayo parang a month ago also on the show. She is with the Foundation for Media Alternatives. Lisa?
Yes, good evening everyone.
So, to her left is Sara Pacia from EngageMedia.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Say hello.
Hello po sa lahat. I'm Sara from EngageMedia and pag-usapan natin kung ano ba talaga yung EngageMedia maya-maya.
Okay, maya-maya. Okay, and we also have Arlene Gan. Darlene Gan from Dakila.
Yes.
And you are in Dakila, you take care of?
I take care of the DigiBac or Digital Activism Program of Dakila.
Okay. So, dyan natin simulan. Let's go back from that discussion and start with the usapan of digital activism.
Yes.
Ano ba yan?
Okay, so just to give a background, Dakila, it started out as an activist artist organization. Mm-hmm. So most of our founding members are from the arts community, mga musicians, mga filmmakers, and people who are creatives, no? And as the years went by, we went into the artists advocated for human rights advocacies. And in 2011, a group of us within Dakila, mga millennials, nung time na umuusbong yung digital marketing, digital advocacy, and we started training human rights organizations and CSOs on digital rights and how to use digital technology for their different advocacy. So dun actually nagsimula yung DigiBac program namin. And it's been evolving throughout the years. So, syempre, dumaan yung panahon ng disinformation and also ngayon, artificial intelligence. So, every time there's been something new and exciting and also concerning na kailangan nating i-address as human rights defenders.
Okay. Sarah, how about EngageMedia?
So, EngageMedia, we're an Asia-Pacific organization at ang aming focus ay to advance digital rights in the Asia-Pacific region. And when we talk about digital rights, essentially, it's your human rights but in the digital space. Kasi ngayon, di mo na talaga pwedeng hiwalay kung ano man yung sarili mo in the physical space. Ito, tayo dito. Yeah. Yung identity nyo at kung sino kayo, meron na rin kayong online alternative, lalo na ngayon na yung para maka-access nung, let's say, yung mga government aid or yung mga ID, para ka lang kumuha ng mga test, ganyan. Kailangan ka ng may online persona, di ba? So, yung organisasyon namin, ibig sabihin, in-advocate namin yung rights mo na kung ano man yung karapatan mo dito in the real space here, dapat mag-translate rin siya online.
Okay. Ginamit ni Sara yung word na alternative. Doon sa gandang segue, no? Talagang parang may pinag-usapan tayo kahit wala, no? Anong role ng Foundation for Media Alternative dito sa, mamaya pag-usapan natin yung event, you introduce the event, but in this space?
Sige, so ang Foundation for Media Alternatives or FMA, kasi yung word na alternative doon, matagal na kasing FMA. Magpo 40 years na kami actually next year. And we started as a communication rights NGO. But of course, with the advent of the internet, it has evolved already. So these days, what we do is to look into the intersection of human rights and technology, including the internet, social media, etc. So ang focus namin mostly on gender issues relating to ICTs and also privacy, data protection, and digital security.
Okay. So, malalim actually yung usapan ng digital rights kasi sinabi natin that digital rights are human rights.
Yes.
And that is no one can argue with that. And the thing is, on the digital space, there are very different rules. It's a very different game. Let's take, for example, the issue of like child exploitation, right? In the real world, it's lantaran. On the digital world, iba-ibang layers, iba-ibang mga kung saan sa nakatago, di ba? Tapos, for example, yung creativity or yung artist space, ganyan din. Copyright rules, nababasto sila, naaagawan silang material, ninanakaw. O kaya minsan ginagamit yung mga mukha nila o yung mga boses, tinig nila. When these are also violations of human rights. Tag-isa, parang the most lucid example of violations or interference in human rights. Starting with you.
Sa amin siguro, kasi we've been looking at this for many years already. Of course, it's how yung sa gender-based violence happening in the digital space.
Yeah.
So, for more than 10 years, we've been mapping actually cases of online gender-based violence. So ngayon, tinatawag na siya tech-facilitated gender-based violence. And that is something that we've been looking at nga. For several years, nakita na namin the different trends, kung ano yung effect din, especially the harm that it does to women. Kasi iba rin pag sa physical space. Of course, when you talk about gender-based violence, sa physical space, you can have the bruises, broken bones, blood. But if you talk about sa digital space, paano iba yung harm na hindi ka naman syempre masasaktan physically, but there is that yung psychological, emotional harm that happens to you. And yun yung siguro mas focus na tinitingnan din namin.
Okay. Sarah?
Napakahirap ng tanong kasi yung digital rights, kasi nga it's human rights in the digital space. Ang daming pwedeng angguluhan. I think yung pwede kong sabihin ay yung pagkawala nung freedom of speech and censorship is something na kailangan talagang pagtunguhan kasi may myth nga, 'di ba, na ay basta online, basta may cellphone ka, may makakuha ka ng internet, ganyan, may computer. Basta kahit pwede ka nang makasabi nung anong gusto mo, kung ano yung you can reach other people, ganyan, kahit wala sa Pilipinas, kahit hindi kayo makita sa pisikalan. Pero yung totoo lang, hindi na ganun kasi yung internet ngayon eh. Yung mga plataforma na ginagamit, there are different rules and also some of these rules are also disadvantageous sa Asia mismo. 'Di ba? Sino yung mga gumagawa usually? Nasa US, nasa Europe, ganyan. Pero tayo, kung ano man yung mga kailangan natin, wala tayong kontrolado doon. So, mahirap rin yung pag-engage sa mga tao ng ganun.
And in your space?
Yeah, so dudugtong ako sa sinabi ni Sara, no? When we're also talking about freedom of expression, especially since Dakila is a creative organization, we have some experiences with members na halimbawa, noong panahon ng pandemic, we had a member in Cebu who spoke out about, parang she made a statement online on the state of the pandemic in Cebu, parang, and then she was slapped with a cyber libel case. So,
By who?
By I think a government official, yeah.
Okay.
Of,
I remember that case.
You remember that
yes,
case?
I remember
diba?
that case.
And that was a very clear example of abuse of the cyber libel law because she was just expressing what she observed. Or parang how she wanted to express yung what was happening around her. Also nung time na the time na height of the extrajudicial killings, some of our members were speaking out against the president, the government. And what happened was, hindi naman sila kinasuhan, pero they were being attacked left and right by anonymous trolls or receiving mga harassment through their inbox, no, through their messenger. So these are things na parang like Liza was saying, even if physically you're not being harmed, parang yung iba nagse-threaten ng that we will kill you, or parang there's violence being threatened against the person. So these are also detrimental to the rights of people who just want to express what they want regarding the government or how they observe the events happening around them.
Dungtungan natin yung usapan na yan. Kasi sabi ni Sara, and maganda yon, having been a journalist for the longest time, I've seen like things evolve from print or even on radio. When you get something in print, you have to write a script. I mean, you have to write an article. On radio, you have to have a script and so on. And when you do that, your editor checks it. And so there's this whole process of vetting and making sure it goes to different people and different minds, and to make sure that at the end you have a neutral piece, or if not neutral piece, because I actually, in journalism, the worst place to be is neutral. You need to find a standard, right? But there are these many eyes to, ngayon wala na. Sarah, you mentioned kasi it's like this democratization. They always love to use the word that it's freedom of speech, and they democratize. Internet allows them to democratize, to speak out and so on. And sometimes they hide violence behind freedom of speech and the freedom of the press. True. So let's go to that. Do you have examples of that in your many experiences? Like that cyber libel case, I remember that. I remember that. I was not yet with the Manila Times, but when we picked up the story in Malaya, our managing editor, Jimmy Cantor, told me, you look at this story and what can we do with it from an IT perspective.
Right.
So we started to write about how the possible abuses of cyber libel. Kasi bagong-bago pa yung cyber libel.
Yeah.
So yun, let's go to that. From each of your spaces again, the abuse hiding behind something else.
Sige, kasi if you talk about the digital space, with all the technology, with all the apps available to us, anyone can be a content creator.
Correct.
You need not be a journalist na ngayon parang you can produce your own show and all of that. Unfortunately, yung nakita namin, of course, iba din kasi yung pag journalist ka, may inaral naman yan, tapos how do you tell the story. Pero ngayon, hindi siya, it's not like news, it's more of, parang kikita namin, opinion ko to eh.
Correct.
So this is what I think, so yun ang ipopublish. And the thing is that, ang bilis kasi, it's yung nakita namin with technology, it's the speed actually, with one click lang, you spread it so much. But what about the content? Anong klaseng content yung sinashare? So it may not be content that is based on facts. At ang dami nating nakikita niyan. That's why a lot of people are being accused, hindi totoo yan, that's fake news, kumbaga, yung ganon. And we've seen that happening in a lot of instances, whether it's yung tinitingnan namin yung usapin ng sa privacy, yung ganyan, nagtatago sila na, I have my rights as, yung I want to keep private, and yet at the same time, nagawa ng mga, content which is, not based on facts. Misleading content, those that can even harm people. Yeah, especially during elections, no? Alam naman natin na you need to establish facts, give them information for people to be able to decide kung ano yung mas nararapat.
Sara, kanina sinabi mo kasi it was very interesting what you mentioned. You said, the platforms where it happens are not in Asia Pacific, and you were like hinting on algorithms.
Yes.
So is that what you meant?
Yes, and that is a part of it. Kasi, the Asia Pacific region, tayo yung malaking block of users sa buong mundo. Tayo, like Philippines, often seen as a social media capital of the world. Nandito rin ang India. Diba? There's so many countries na tayo yung gumagamit. And yet, pag dadating sa ano na nga ba yung bagong algorithm na gagawin, ano ba yung priorities na itong platforms? Usually, wala tayo sa usapan, di ba? So, dahil doon, I think, before this, I used to be a journalist. Naalala ko noon nung nasa media pa ako, sabi namin, paano nga ba namin to iti-tweak yung, na para mas makita ng mga tao yung ano namin, yung mga posts, ganyan. Ay, hindi mo alam kasi opaque yun lahat Kasi wala ka naman dun, bigla na lang the next month, iba na yung daloy nung, di ba? Iba na yung priorities ng platform. So biglang hindi na mapapakita yung post, ganyan. So I think that's indicative na rin dun sa, on the global space na parang nasan yung boses natin sa ganon. At to go back to your question on yung mga examples, I think it's important to also say na ang freedom of speech does not trump the protections that you must have and to not do harm against others.
True.
So, feeling ng mga tao na dahil yung internet ay libre at kahit na na minsan you hide under anonymity, 'di ba? Parang pwede ka na magsabi ng kung anong gusto mo. Na dapat kung isipin mo if you do that in person, sasabihin mo ba 'yun sa isang tao kasi sabihin mo ay hindi karapatan ko namang sabihin tong lahat ng mga masasamang to. But so I think that's an important distinction to make, that freedom of speech is also not it's not a freedom to do harm to others. But at the same time, it's also a tricky conversation kasi when you start regulating naman na ito yung pwede mong sabihin, itong hindi, sino nga ba yung magre-regulate nun? Sino nga ba yung mambabatas dun, di ba? Ibang conversation naman nun. So part of being in this digital rights space is also trying to balance people's freedom to also share yung opinions nila kahit na it may not be the popular opinion, but also ensuring that what people are saying is not doing more harm to other folks, especially marginalized people. Yung a big example dito dun sa platforms to go outside of the Philippines, yung Burmese and the Rohingyas noon, 'di ba? It is already Meta and Facebook have already acknowledged their role in not regulating yung lahat ng hate speech and comments against these populations. So while people are entitled to their opinion, there is that rule, di ba, na nangyari na exacerbate palalo yung situation, di ba?
Okay. So with that, Darlene, babalikan kita dahil para pagtalo natin dun sa usapan, babalikan kita after this break.
Darlene Gan of Dakila, please like, share, and follow TechSabado.
Ito po si Liza Garcia ng Foundation for Media Alternatives. Please like, share, and subscribe sa TechSabado.
I'm Sara Pacia from EngageMedia, and please like, share, and follow TechSabado across all social media platforms.
Nagbabalik po tayo sa TechSabado at maganda yung usapan natin kanina. We left the conversation talking about the particular space of human rights and how human rights are limited by the rights and liberties of others. So, punta tayo ngayon, Darlene, what is What is your take on that? Kanina, nung off-cam tayo, yung usapan natin.
Yeah. So what Sara was saying about, she already talked a little bit about how we are looking at holding accountable yung mga tech actors, because of course they are the ones responsible for the algorithms that bring the content to us, that spread the content, no? Of course, it's important for individuals to be responsible for the content that they put out. But there's also need to be able to hold these tech actors accountable, and also to be able to seek redress from the government. Pag nakikita natin na, so for example, scams sa mga online shopping or online purchase, parang who do we hold accountable? How do we get redress for yung mga ganong klase na situations? So yeah.
Yung usapan kasi ng digital rights, di ba? Balik tayo dun sa sinabi natin, pareho ng human rights, di ba? Pero sa totoo lang, sa digital space, nagkakaroon ng bumabaling somewhere because of technology. Di ba? So for example, you take your camera and take a picture of somebody, di ba? In essence, that's already a violation of that person's right kasi walang consent. You're walking on the street with your camera on, then you're moving about, di ba? And you're taking pictures of video of people, di ba? And you're capturing faces and so on.
Right.
Long time ago, when phone cameras came out, parang okay lang yun eh, di ba? And then later on, there were cases of voyeurism, sexual exploitation. In fact, in one particular country, in Japan, the click sound and the beeping light is mandatory, di ba? Do you believe that all of these safeguards should be implemented everywhere? Dapat ba pagka, di ba kasi sa atin, na-off mo. In Japan, you can't. There's no way of turning that off. Do you believe that we should have the same safeguards when it comes to these devices?
Kasi in as much as we want to be safe whenever we're traveling, when we're walking in the streets, in the digital space, we also have to be safe.
Okay.
So, ano bang safety doon? So, sinabi na ni Darlene, there should be policies din. So, government should also have regulations. Ano ba yung mga batas that would protect us also?
Pero ang dami na natin ata.
Ang dami na, pero naipapatupad ba siya? How is it, paano bang, pag ba may nangyari na, kunwari, yung right ko ay, in one platform, ay violated, is the answer to that, ibablock mo na lang yung app na yon. So, we have to look into that. Hindi kasi basta-basta mo gagawin yon. Because you have to look at, kabit-kabit yung rights natin eh.
Okay.
Once you let's say, block one application, what about your right to expression, yung mga ganon. Of course, and then also, yung katulad ng sinabi niya, paano naman yung mga platforms also? They're supposed to have community standards, and yet how do they respond also to complaints that we lodge against them?
Okay.
So yung mga ganun, kailangan ding tingnan. Siguro, do they actually, not just platforms, but maybe governments as well, or developers of technology, do they actually engage with people, consult with people actually when they're designing technology or whatever device they're doing during the implementation, and then yung sa pilot, yung mga feedback, importante yon eh, para at least nako-consult nila yung mga tao na eventually users naman ng mga devices or technology that are being developed or will be produced in the market. Yeah.
Okay. Sara?
Actually, very similar yung sagot namin ni Liza. I think ang tendency, lalo na when it comes to technology and new rights violations or other crimes that come about because of technology, ang knee-jerk reaction ay lagyan natin ng bagong batas. Regulate agad. At napaka-reactionary niya without actually looking at yung, ano ba yung exact cause or saan nanggagaling ba. So let's say an example na ngayon, alam natin, yung mga scam centers, scam calls, di ba? 'Di ba? So biglang okay, pagbawalan na lahat, basta okay, bawal na casino, wala na 'yon. So lahat puro reactionary yung mga galawan. But kung isipin mo, bakit nga ba yung iba na addict, parang they fall for scams, 'di ba? It also boils down, it's all tied to, let's say, yung lack of education also, 'di ba? So parang usually yung mga responses na ganyan na regulation agad ay we're not in favor kasi nga it's a longer conversation, and it's a conversation na hindi naman natin talaga napapag-usapan kasi yung ganitong nuances mas madali kasi na dahil yan sa tech. So tech lang yung i-address, 'di ba? The other response rin is that yung tinanong mo na kung yung dapat gawin ba natin yung sa Japan. Ang hirap rin sagutin kasi Japan yun eh. Iba naman yung konteksto ng Japan, iba yung konteksto ng Pilipinas. So, even then, kung mag-a-adopt tayo ng mga kahit na good practices siya sa iba, hindi pwedeng basta kung ano yung ginawa nila, gayahin lang dito. And yung importance of that conversation na kailangan mangyari na ano ba nga ba yung ginawa sa Japan, paano nga ba yung magmumukha, ano yung itsura nun sa atin na knowing na iba rin yung, iba yung mga batas, iba rin naman yung konteksto, iba yung experiences ng mga tao. And yun yung important talaga na bago pa man natin sabihin na gayahin yung iba, kailangan na tayo mabulong usapan na hindi, at dapat hindi lang yung regulators. Sometimes a lot of these, conversations, it's, let's say, governments, maybe a representative from tech, and then maybe a representative from civil society where we belong. So usually, parang token representation ba yun? Tapos isahan lang gagawin at sabihin, nag-consult na tayo.
Okay.
Ang hirap rin naman nung burden na yun na di naman pwedeng yung mga iisang representative na yun from different sectors.
True.
Sila na yung may say and represent the whole of their own sector. At unfortunately, pag i-open up na mas important yung conversation na yun, ang tatagal sabihin, masyadong matagal, we need to act now, ganyan. But that's also part of us not being reactionary. Hindi pwedeng mabilisan lang na law. Kasi eventually ma-outdate yun. Ang bilis-bilis ng pag-advance ng technology, di ba? Ngayon, sige, relevant yan ng 2 years. Tapos, pagkatapos ng bago na naman. Tapos, hindi na-address yung mga root causes kung bakit nga ba nangyayari ito. Etong mga challenges and problems and rights violations na only exacerbated, na nakikita natin na ina-advance rin ng technology. But hindi rin naman technology yung root cause talaga ng mga bagay.
Yung ehemplo po ng sinasabi ni Sara na reactionary, for example, yung grok, binan kasi may lumabas na gusto ko puntahan yan grok mamaya sa usapan ng AI tsaka ng spasyo ng artist tsaka yung Roblox, di ba? Kita lang may problema, pagbawalan na natin yan and so on. But actually hindi nga nang dapat yung reaction. So, dun sa grok, it was an image issue. Therefore, it was an issue of supposedly artistry. But AI can never be an artist.
Right.
It's only humans who can have an actual creative mind with all of our neurons running and actually create. Sila kasi, AI will create something based on this massive amount of data that it has, and then it'll start, hexadecimaling to make something. So, yun yung question ko ngayon. Artificial intelligence as a deterrence to creativity, and then later on, as a roadblock to human rights, to digital rights.
Yeah. So, I do want to get into that, responding also sa sinabi ni Sara kanina na often our response to new technology, AI for example, is very reactionary.
Correct.
Parang we see a harm and then we make a policy para ma-prevent yung harm na yun. But what Dakila believes in is that we should be able to rehumanize narratives on digital technology because digital rights are human rights.
Correct.
Digital technology should be something that serves humans, right? And regarding your observation on artificial intelligence and how it impacts the work of artists, of course, very problematic yung training, yung mga models, mga AI models, generative AI models on artistic work, lalong-lalo na walang consent
Correct.
ng mga artists, diba? Just because their work is available online publicly, na hina-harvest yung creativity, all the work, all the artistry that has been put in it to just feed into an AI model. Parang that's a very problematic thing that's been happening, no? And what I think, for example, na sa panahon ngayon na binubuo natin yung mga policies natin nationally on AI, there really has to be a strong push for civil society, for artists, for educators, especially ngayon kasi ginagamit siya in the education sector,
Correct.
no? They really should be involved dun sa usapin ng AI, and how do we create frameworks that help ordinary Filipinos to engage with AI? Because nakikita nga natin na ang bilis ng development, diba, ng technology, and parang we're saying it's inevitable that AI will be parang the norm. Parang social media, it's here, hindi ka na makawala. AI is getting there. So we have to be able, as civil society, as media, to be able to engage in a way that we can protect ourselves, no, as humans. We can protect the artists, we can protect the laborers, na kung saan tinetrain yung mga AI sa the way that they work para ma-replace sila. So we're very concerned, for example, sa mga papasok na bagong workforce na baka wala ng mga entry jobs na matitira para sa kanila. So these are the things that I think are very important for even ordinary Filipinos to understand.
Kunin ko yung point mo na yun. Kasi I came from the Beijing Auto Show. In the Beijing Auto Show kasi, a lot of, it's an auto show, so cars, but it wasn't actually cars. Because cars were just the platform for all of the technology. Yeah. And robotics was one of the biggest things that they were discussing. And unimaginable, maybe 10 years ago, the abilities of the robots that can do now. And then to respond or to add to what you mentioned about replacement of the workforce, even in countries like China or in the US, they don't believe that in its entirety, robots will replace the workforce. They still believe that there is a lot of space left for humans, diba, for us. But yung point mo eksakto kasi, hindi handa. Lalo na tayo, Pilipinas, hindi tayo handa doon sa pagbuhos ng artificial intelligence. Kasi kung hindi man dumating yung robotics dito sa atin, dadating yung mga ibang facilities for AI, like education. In our field, in journalism, we're all scared with, AI replacing journalists. So, hangang-hanga ako dun sa isang usap namin with Dax Lucas of Insider.ph, and they have an AI policy, and they're openly saying that they use AI to edit. So they write the main stuff, and then they use AI to edit. At the Manila Times also, for example, our AI policy is nothing that will come out in Manila Times will be written by AI. Kasi pag nagkaroon ng libel suit or whatever, you can't legally run after AI, right? You have to run after human. So, with that subject as a pivot, balik tayo sa AI po. Balik tayo sa AI, Liza. Again, ang dami kasing usapan dyan sa AI in terms of exploitation. So, nasabi na natin yung scam. Meron akong nabasa quite recently about using AI to like project hiring for women, and our Bureau of Immigration, ang dami nilang mga nahuli na mga dumadaan sa airport na nagpapakita ng mga it turned out to be AI generated work work offers, di ba? Yung pala human trafficking yun, di ba? So again, alam ko baka ang puntirera naman dito implementation kulang, and so, but where can we stand from a tech perspective? Hindi ba? Ano ba? Pipigilan na lang ba natin yan? Hindi ko rin ma-grasp kasi.
Yeah, of course, marami ng ganyan, no? Ang daming scams, alam natin yan. Meron nga iba na scam na one time, tapos nakabalik sa Pilipinas. I was just reading something about it, no? Tapos may offer na naman, and then babalik na naman. Because siguro, kailangan din ng kasing tingnan yung landscape dito. Ano bang meron na ino-offer tayo sa Pilipinas? Dun sa mga taong, why are they enticed to yung patulan, yung mga ganitong offers na in the first place, I think somehow they have an inkling of what it is all about, na gano'n, it could be a scam, etc. And yet, kasi wala naman kasi silang iba siguro na mapuntahan dito na trabaho. So yun, isa sa dapat na tingnan din kasi ng gobyerno. Ano ba yung ino-offer natin? And then, I think babalik na naman ako sa sa usapin ng educational system natin. How we really need to look into the kind of the education that we provide our children, because we need to prepare them for the future. Hindi lang in preparation na dapat marunong kang gumamit ng technology, etc. But paano mo magagamit yung technology na yon for you to improve, for you to na magamit mo siya, for you to also, you also have to know how to think critically para mas nagagamit mo siya, ma-maximize mo yung benefits that these technologies offer rather than na mapahama ka using technology. Gusto ko lang I have to say this lang when we talk about AI, kasi pinag-uusapan natin palagi maybe in the future AI itong ginagawa, nakakatulong sa work, ganyan, but at the same time it's detrimental yung ganyan. Pero siguro tingnan natin the whole ecosystem of AI also. So kasi kami, isa sa tinitingnan na rin namin is the production lines. At paano mag-uumpisa yung AI na yan? Kasi it's a lot of it requires minerals, it requires energy, di ba? Yung ganon, it requires water, yung ganon.
Data
Pero
centers,
yung mga data centers, how do they run actually? So yung mga ganong issue, I think kailangan din siyang pag-usapan at hindi lang yung, kasi puro AI yung pinag-usapan natin, but we also have to understand paano nagsisimula ito, sino yung mga tao na involved dito. Kasi we can't just talk about AI na ito mga technologists to, ito lang yung mga engineers, etc. But what about the role of miners? Yung mga ganon na hindi natin nakikita siguro in the whole process of it.
Okay. Malalim mo yung usapan, literally malalim kasi may mining.
May mining.
May mining lang.
Ang usapan ng AI. So, babalik po kami after this break.
This is Darlene Gan of Dakila. Please like, share, and follow TechSabado.
Ito po si Liza Garcia ng Foundation for Media Alternatives. Please like, share, and subscribe sa TechSabado.
I'm Sara Pacia from EngageMedia, and please like, share, and follow TechSabado across all social media platforms.
Babalik po tayo sa TechSabado sa kaninang malalim na usapan tungkol sa mining. Pero lalagay na mo namin sa aming dyan, yung usapan tungkol sa mining, magpa-pop up yan dyan sa... Kasi meron nung darating na event, again, malalim ho yung discussion dun sa the event na yan. And I'd like Sara to take over and talk about this digital rights event that's happening very soon.
Yes. So, I think ang ganda na rin nung segue na before the break, pinag-usapan na natin. Ang dami ng intersections. Nag-start tayo sa digital rights and yet napag-usapan na natin ang rights ng artists, gender, privacy, the environment. So, all that to show na yung usapang digital rights, because it is still, at the end of the day, mas importante yung word na rights kaysa sa digital, talagang nag-i-intersect siya sa lahat ng bagay. At pati yung mga solution na to, kailangan kasama rin yung mga ibang advocacy at ibang issues. Hindi siya basta ma-solve mo yung digital and yung tech part. At hanggang doon na lang. So, kaya tayo may event. It is called the Digital Rights Asia Pacific Assembly. It is a space for civil society and other sectors to come together and discuss these types of intersections. Essentially, ano ba yung mga shared challenges natin, yung mga hindi lang sa Pilipinas but across Asia Pacific, these challenges to digital rights and technology, how can we find inspiration and solutions to that together. Kasi nga, yung mga pinag-usapan natin, lahat ng pinag-usapan natin in different forms, nangyayari rin talaga across the world and also especially in Asia nga, as nasabi nga natin, madaming primary users tayo na oftentimes wala naman tayong says dun sa mga policy ng tech platforms. Kaya, etong Digital Rights Asia Pacific Assembly, it's the first time na mangyari sa Manila. It is this June 8 to 10 in SMX Aura, the Convention Center, and sa UP Bonifacio Global City. It is also, anyone can register to join at DRAPAC, DRAPAC.net. So that's DRAPAC.net. That's the website. You can, essentially, yung mga pag-uusapan dito are different variations ng mga napag-usapan natin ngayon. At hindi lang sa Pilipinas, but also ano ba yung experiences ng mga ibang bansa. So we talked about, let's say, sa environment. There are many advocates from Indonesia who are also experiencing the same thing. Kasi doon ang priority ng gobyerno nila ay yung mga AI data centers at so a lot of the resources meron doon. And so many other issues. Maubusan tayo ng oras pag sinabi ko na lahat.
Isa-isayin natin.
Patikim na lang ito.
Patikim lang ito.
Patikim lang. Oh. Pero what activities are we going to have? Fora? Are we going to have roundtable discussions? Will we invite
workshops?
Workshops? Will we
Yes.
invite government people and bash them?
Yes, they are.
They're invited.
Yes.
Okay. Please come.
Yes, so I think it's important to show na this is a space na civil society yung bida, while everyone is also welcome, definitely, if there are government officials or those from the private sector who want to discuss these important issues from a rights lens, you are definitely more than welcome. But it's also important to emphasize na itong space na to is built by civil society kasi oftentimes yung mga ganitong usapan, nagiging token representation lang dun sa mga conversations around regulation and other things. Tapos, and yet yung mga burden para i-protect yung rights ng tao, napakalaki, nasa civil society pa rin, di ba? So, kaya we welcome that yung last edition namin last year was in Kuala Lumpur sa Malaysia. Kasama dun yung National AI Office ng Malaysia to discuss ano ba yung AI policies for Malaysia and on the ASEAN level, ano yung how to center it pa rin sa rights ng mga tao. So, it was a welcome conversation kasi usually when you talk about rights, minsan nawawala rin yan sa usapan kasi mas important yung productivity, advancement, yung technological advancement, yan yung mga buzzwords. And yet, nakakalimutan na rin na sino nga ba pa rin yung gagamit ng netong mga teknolohiya, hindi, tao. At kailangan hindi sila makalimutan.
What lessons are you going to bring from last year's event to the 2026 DRAPAC?
Please feel free rin to interject, ha? Hindi lang ako,
Okay, sige. I think it's a very important space to be able to, for civil society, social movement organizations, media, people involved in technology na makarating dito sa space na to. Kasi there are few spaces na nagko-collaborate, yung mga people from a wide range of sectors, no? Especially parang from the wake of yung recently canceled na RightsCon in Zambia.
Okay.
Na it's also a digital rights, a global digital rights collaboration space. And we're hoping that some people who were not able to go there would be able to participate here since medyo na-close nga yung space na yon. And I also think that, like Sara mentioned, it's important that we have people there who are from sectors who are usually parang a little bit, hindi naman disconnected, pero hindi masyadong na-engage sa digital space. Like, for example, the environment, indigenous people's advocacies, education, no? Maganda na may wide range of participants who can come there to also lend their voice and to say what needs to be said about the state of digital rights in the Philippines and in Asia.
Yeah. And to add to that, I think it's also an opportune time for us to have DRAPAC in Manila because the Philippines is currently the chair of ASEAN. And in ASEAN, they're discussing a lot about digital transformation. Pero nasaan yung rights when we talk about digital transformation? I think it's one of the things na pwedeng na madi-discuss din dito sa upcoming DRAPAC this coming June. And katulad nung sabi nila, it's a good thing because a lot of people from different sectors, especially civil society, will be coming together and you get a lot of shared commonalities here, ideas that it can be a space also for collaboration, not just between and among civil society, but maybe with government, maybe with private sector also. Because if we talk at this point in time, we really have to work together, especially us in civil society. Yung movement, we need to strengthen it because also of what's happening, and we have to be involved in all this because we're not just token, individuals. We are the users, lahat naman yung technology na yan, it's also for us. So that's why we also have to be involved.
Yes. And I think that involvement really should bring in government. Mm-hmm. Did you invite anybody from government? Or is it just open for them to come? Kundi ako mag-iimbita.
They're welcome naman to come. I think we've reached out dati. Meron kaming sinabihan na you can come, baka kailangan lang na i-follow up sila. They can come naman, definitely.
Yes.
Okay, I think they should be. I really think that the DTI, the DICT, especially the DICT, with this ongoing bula-bulu with blockchain and all of these cybersecurity issues, and even the budget that goes into the e-gov, affect our human rights, I use the e-gov often, our little IDs there are, there's privacy and so on. So yeah, I think so. I'm going to use this opportunity to invite the DICT, the DTI, the DOST, Secretary CHED, our DepEd, to please join and be involved in that conversation at DRAPAC 2026. So, tama ba yan, DRAPAC 2026?
Yes, DRAPAC 2026.
Yeah. So, how do we already invited government, everybody.
Yeah.
How do we join? How do we register?
Yes.
Is there something to pay and
Yes.
so on?
So for you, all you have to do to register is to go on drapac.net. Again, DRAPAC.net. Napaka-original kasi nga Digital Rights Asia Pacific. At in terms of registration, it is free for all civil society, academe, students especially, because we encourage the youth to really take part, at sila rin naman talaga yung in the long run yung pinaka-apektado dito to join. And for other sectors, there is a tiered ticketing system also with the idea na those from other sectors can help support the civil society and the digital rights movement. So any ticket proceeds from those sectors who pay to attend all go towards the fellowships and the opportunity for other digital rights advocates from the Asia Pacific region to attend. So all the information is public. The different sessions and workshops are also all on that website, so we encourage you to check it out. And again, we want to invite people not just in the civil society sector, but others also who want to hear from civil society exactly how can we work together to address these shared challenges.
Okay. So, Sir, kailan at saan uli? Sa dalawang venues, no? Emphasize natin.
Yes. So it is a 3-day event from June 8 to 10, 2026. The first 2 days at June 8 at June 9 ay nasa SMX Convention Center, Ora. At yung last day, on day 3, it is at the University of the Philippines BGC campus. Ang difference nun is that yung first 2 days ay focused really on plenary panel sessions, roundtable discussions. At yung third day are really specific to workshops. So these are half-day sessions. So talagang after nating mag-usap the last 2 days, okay, ano nga ba? So with all these learnings, so paano nga ba tayo kikilos? Kaya kailangan ng mas mahabang oras. At mas intimate na rin yung venue.
Discussion. Ano lang yun, konting lakad lang yun.
Yes.
Konting lakad lang.
Yeah.
Sige, so we hope to see everyone. Sana mas marami pang mag-register. We hope to see you at DRAPAC this coming June. And that's an opportunity also to meet people, not just fellow Filipinos, but our counterparts also in Asia and the Pacific, for us to share with them, to learn from each other.
Okay. So the event is presented by FMA, EngageMedia, and Dakila. And who are the supporters? You have other partners and supporters?
Yes, so we're grateful for the supporters because they helped us in bringing DRAPAC to Manila and in bringing fellows also to attend DRAPAC. So we'd like to thank Oxfam,
Yes.
SIDA, Porticus, and Luminate.
Darlene, how about you?
Yeah, so this DRAPAC 2026, I really like the theme as well. It's co-creating resilient digital futures, which we all know it's resilient human futures then. Kasi what our digital rights is our human rights as well. And we want to be able to make sure that this event is not just people talking and then there's nothing after. But like Sara said, the third day is a day where people come together to workshop actions na paglabas ng DRAPAC, there's something that people can collaborate on together, whether it's engaging in tech, with tech actors, engaging with government, and the different organizations.
Okay. Thank you, ladies. Yan po ang DRAPAC 2026. Darating June 8 to 10, right? So SMX Convention Center, and after that on the third day at UP in BGC. Correct. Okay. So, magandang gabi po sa lahat. Ito po si Raymund Tribdino, Tito Tribs ng The Manila Times, cleantechnica.com at TechSabado. Para sa aking kasamaan, Jing Garcia, also of The Manila Times, and Attorney Melvin Calimag, Executive Editor of Newsbytes.ph. Magandang gabi po sa lahat.
This is Darlene Gan of Dakila.
This is Sara Pacia from EngageMedia.
This is Liza Garcia from the Foundation for Media Alternatives. We hope you can join us for the Digital Rights Asia Pacific 2026,
June 8 to 10 at SMX Aura BGC on June 8 to 9 and June 10 at UP BGC.
So you can register to attend at www.drapac.net. That is DRAPAC.net.
Join us as we co-create resilient digital futures.
Looking forward to seeing you there.
hope to see you there.
Hi, I'm Jing Garcia of the Manila Times. Please like, share, and follow TechSabado on YouTube and Facebook.
Hello, I'm Melvin Calimag of Newsbytes.ph. Please like, share, and follow TechSabado on Facebook and YouTube.
Magandang araw po, Raymund Tribdino, Tito Tribs ng Manila Times at ng cleantechnica.com. Like, share, follow TechSabado sa YouTube at Facebook.